Do the Seattle Mariners need a new first baseman? Let's talk about it. So I won't lie, making this video does hurt a little bit because I am a big Ty France fan, but it really is getting to the point where it's truly unbearable to even watch. Ty France has been a Seattle Mariner for a few years now, and he has done very well in his time here. Just these past year and a half really has just not been good for Ty. And we are currently 40 games into the season, and he still is at well below a negative WAR. So this video, we're just going to kind of go over Ty France's stats so far, where he ranks amongst other Mariners, as well as other first basemen around the league that the Mariners could possibly target at the trade deadline. Which at this point, I'm not fully against. If they want to go try to make a deal right now, let's do it. But otherwise, we're going to have to wait until the trade deadline for this to actually happen. So let's first go over where Ty France ranks amongst his Mariners in 5 different categories. So this does go up into the 39th game of the year, so this doesn't include the second game against the A's, but it does include the first game and everything up to that point. So Ty's hitting .248 in terms of his batting average, which puts him 4th in the Mariners roster. In terms of K percentage, he is at 24.8%, which is the 12th lowest. In terms of WAR, he is at a negative .5 WAR, which puts him dead last on the Mariners roster. In terms of WRC+, he's at a 93, which puts him 6th on the roster. And in terms of RBIs, he has 11, which is tied for 5th with Julio. So to be honest, when you look at these stats and where he ranks, he really doesn't rank that low, except really in terms of WAR, where he is dead last on the entire squad. But it's not really saying much on a Mariners offense that is below average at best. And to be honest, a few weeks ago when I first looked at Ty France's stats on Fangraphs and saw the negative .3 WAR he was at a few weeks ago, somehow it's only gotten worse. I was shocked to see that it was negative because leading up to the start of the year, Ty France looked like the drive line had really helped him. He got off to a really decent start for us. But truly, ever since then, it's just gotten worse and worse, and being at a negative .5 is truly just atrocious, and I don't know how much longer as a Mariners fan we could sit back and watch it and be okay with it. Ty France has always been a fan favorite, but leading up to last year when he really started to struggle, especially in the second half, Mariners fans kind of turned on him a little bit, which I mean, I guess is accepted because he was really struggling, and he still is up to this point. The one bone that we did have to pick with Ty France is as a first baseman, you're expected to have some power, and realistically, except the 1 year where he was an all-star, he really has not put up power numbers at all. And I would show you where he ranks league, but based on where he just ranks on the Mariners alone, I'm pretty sure you don't want to see that because he's probably dead last in the league in terms of first baseman amongst all these categories, so it's not even worth putting you guys through it. But the big question is if we really do need to replace Ty France, who should the Mariners go out and target? There are 2 main guys that I've heard being discussed amongst the Mariners community, but there's one guy that I threw into this video that I really want, and you'll see why, and most of you will probably know why as soon as I say his name, but let's go through who these 3 guys are. Before we go over these 3 guys, there are 2 options that the Mariners could do internally if they wanted to focus on maybe another position to go out and get and kind of leave first base open. So those 2 internal options are moving Luke Raley to first base, which we know the Mariners are starting to do more often, and the second one is bringing up Tyler Locklear, who is currently in the minors and one of the Mariners' top prospects. You all know who Tyler Locklear is. That's nothing new. But this year, Tyler Locklear is hitting .296 with 4 home runs and 17 RBIs and 108 ABs. So he is doing pretty well. He has a .420 on base percentage as well. So that is definitely an internal option that the Mariners could pursue if they really wanted to. And also, as we know, Luke Raley, and then maybe they can focus on another position that they want to fill instead. But those are the 2 main internal options for the Mariners. So starting off with one of the 3 players, and this is a name that I heard first originally, and that is Josh Bell. To put it nicely, I'm going to say I'd rather not get Josh Bell. As you can see by his stats, he's currently hitting .204 with 4 home runs, a 79 WRC+, and a negative .5 WAR so far this season, which is exactly like Ty with a less WRC+. So this was the name that I first originally heard or saw on X. So this definitely is not an option that I would want to pursue, but it is clearly what some people are interested in, especially on a struggling Marlins team. So I'd rather stay away, but that is option number 1. Option number 2 that I've seen bring up a lot, and that is first baseman Pete Alonso from the New York Mets. So far, as you can see by his stats, he's hitting .220 with 9 home runs and a 116 WRC+, as well as a .3 WAR. So definitely an improvement from Ty France. Pete definitely does not hit for high average, but he does have a lot of pop, which again is kind of what you're looking for from a first baseman. I don't really care so much about average. There's certain positions where me personally as a fan, I don't really focus on the batting average as much as I do the power side, because those positions aren't really known for being great hitters, but they are supposed to bring that power element, and first base to me is one of those. I did see one mock trade in which we gave the Mets Ty France and Emerson Hancock lock for Pete Alonso. And if we did get Pete Alonso, this would be a rental, which we know Jerry is not a big fan of doing. But I am a big fan right now is if we have a chance to make a playoff run and I don't want to waste this pitching, let's go out and do it. So out of those two options, Pete Alonso is definitely my favorite option in terms of those two, just because he brings a lot of power to the table and he produces tons of RBIs. He's had over 118 RBIs in 2023 and 2022, where one of the seasons I believe he had 131 RBIs. So definitely a guy that's just going to produce, maybe not for a high average, but he will just produce overall. Now for kind of my far-fetched, crazy option that a lot of you are just going to roll your eyes at because the odds of this even happening are absolutely slim to none. But on a struggling Diamondbacks team, and if they continue to struggle leading up into the trade deadline, go out and get Christian Walker, please. Christian Walker is hitting .281 with 7 home runs, a 148 WRC plus, and a 1.6 wins above replacement. Similarly to with Pete Alonso, he will also be a free agent going into 2025. So if the Diamondbacks are really struggling and they really don't see a future of going to the playoffs, this is definitely a guy the Mariners should target and put together a package for. While Pete Alonso, in my mind, definitely makes an impact in the Mariners lineup right away, I think Christian Walker just absolutely makes the team absolutely game-changing in terms of the playoffs. The guy is just a ball player. He puts up high average, high power numbers. He's great on defense. He's a Gold Glove first baseman. I mean, right now he's posting up a 1.6 WAR, which is 2.1 points higher than Ty France right now. So I don't necessarily know what it would take to get him. As we know, it wouldn't just be Ty France and Emerson Hancock. They'd have to give away some prospects for him. But the Diamondbacks and the Mariners do have a long history of trading, especially this past offseason. We made trades. As we know, last time at the trade deadline, we got rid of Paul Sewald and got Rojas, Bliss, and Canzone in return. So I don't necessarily think this is completely out of the ballpark. Like I said, while the options are probably still slim to none just because he's such a good baseball player, and I don't really know if the Mariners want to give up 5 players for him, but I definitely think this is a guy that can come out and really just change your lineup, especially for the last 2 months of the year going into the playoffs. So for me, if I had to rank these 3, it would go Christian Walker, Pete Alonso, and then Josh Bell. I don't really see a point in going to acquire Josh Bell because he just has this basically the same stat line, if not even a little worse than Ty France does. He doesn't even hit for any average at all. But like I said, as much as it pains me to say it, I do think the Mariners need to move on from Ty France, especially if he kind of just stays at this consistent, nothing really going. Like it's just a little bit, sometimes he'll produce, other times you really won't. So I don't know, removing a negative .5 WAR bat from our lineup really will help out, especially if it's a guy that already has a 1 WAR by the time we're going to acquire him. So I don't know, like I said, it pains me. I'm a big Ty France fan, but unfortunately I think it might be time to move on. So let me know down in the comments if you guys think we should move on from Ty France and who we should possibly replace him with, whether it to be internally or externally. Otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.